let's chat for a moment about boundaries, healthy boundaries. This is a topic that we hear about all the time. We read about it. It's always around us, but we don't know where to set the boundaries, how to use the boundaries, what to do with the boundaries, and what should be the boundaries. But the first thing that we have to see in a boundary is that Jesus had boundaries. We see in the Gospels, there are multiple times where he retreats from the crowd. He even retreats from his disciples. But every time he retreats, he goes in order to be refilled in the presence of his Father. His boundary, his withdrawal boundary, is to be refilled so that he can re-enter into everyday life with people. So that he can go back into a life of ministry, never stopping that. His boundary was always to pull back and get refilled so that he can go back forward and pour back out. See, our boundaries need to follow that same method. So when we set boundaries, there are moments where we know that we need to retreat so that we can be refilled in the presence. So that boundary, that pullback boundary, it's still an active season in our life. It's still an active moment where we get in the presence of God, in the moment of worship, dig into his word, and we allow him to refill us in the Spirit. It's an active moment. It's not one that sits for 2 and 3 and 4 years or months on end. It's a season where we let God fill us up and we know when that refilling happens. And then just like Jesus, he stepped right back into a moment of ministry. The other side of boundaries is that we often don't know when to say no and I need to be refilled, and that's what we just discussed. But the other thing that Jesus did very well is inside of the boundary, he took action. Even when the crowd was walking this way, he saw a man that was blind, or he saw someone in need. And in that filling, because he was filled with his Father, he could step in his boundary and still meet somebody's need. He could step and pivot and change from where the crowd was hustled to adjust the moment to bring the presence of the Father over somebody else. Part of our boundaries is that we know when the ball's inbounds and when the ball's out of bounds, and we're not confused by the two. Out of bounds is active, it's refilling, it's getting ready, it's getting your feet in the blocks. And inbounds is actively knowing when God calls you to do something and being ready to do it. So my prayer for you today is that if you don't know where your boundaries are, draw them up, write them down. And if you're not sure what they should look like, read the Gospels. Look at how Jesus defines boundaries, how he operates in everyday life. There is no one like him, and we are to be like him, imitators of Christ. It's a good day to have a new day and a fresh day. Set those healthy boundaries.